He's ready. He's ready. All right. I think it's going to work, but please thank you everyone for keeping your paws crossed. I really appreciate it. All right. Welcome to our monthly Steampunk book chat. I'm so happy to have you here. We are going to have a discussion. Lady Jude, so I will say that chat fits better in a title space. And so we'll call it
Oh,
colloquially chat,
it's
and you'll
shorter,
know that it's
shorter.
a discussion within.
Ah,
Yes.
all right, all right. And pardon me if the dog, the small dog starts barking because Anne is off at IKEA in Phoenix and I can't, the dog won't let me touch it. So,
That's all right. We'll all endure together and know that you
okay.
are doing your utmost. So, welcome everyone to our monthly book chat, hosted by me, Madam Askew, and my wonderful chum and co-conspirator, Bill Barden, the buttery goodness himself, and a very good sport too, I might add. This month, we are discussing the wonderful Clockwork Boys by T. Kingfisher. Thank you, Bill. Bill has the book in his hot little hands and everything. I really appreciate. Oh, a bunch of you, Hannah, Karen. Look at that, so wonderful. Hello, Patrice. It's so good to see you. Welcome, welcome. So, welcome, friends. We're going to have our normal book chat in which we are going to go around the room. Lady June Squirrel's ready with that beautiful digital version. I love it. If my sound seems a little unusual today, it is. If you can't hear me very well, please let me know. I'll speak louder. We're going to muddle through, however. So, for
But
those who've not, oh yes, Lady June Squirrel.
your camera's not on.
No, well, no, yes and no. So
Wait
one
a minute, wait a
camera,
minute. There's two of you.
yes,
Sorry, I'm sorry. I take it back. Okay.
no, it's all right. It's a very strange time. We're
Yes, it
muddling
is.
through like the MacGyver of book clubs. So, so welcome everyone. I'm so excited. For our new friends who are here with us for the first time, this is a very relaxed and friendly space. There are no grades, there are no essays, and you do not have to finish the book to participate in our discussion. But do know there may be spoilers. We do our best to not spoiler too much, but sometimes the conversation goes that way. This is a very conversational chat. However, I will ask questions. You don't have to answer them, but I hope you will. So, Karen, J. Carlyle, author extraordinaire from Australia. Hello,
Yes,
my friend. Yeah,
uh,
hi. Hi. So, have you finished the book? Did you read the book?
that was 3 books ago, and I've actually read the second one as well. And
Oh,
I
good.
had to read my hubby's copy, and I bought my own.
Oh, oh, look at you. Well done, you. Really supporting T. Kingfisher. I appreciate it on her behalf. So, my question to get us started is, who was one of your favorite characters? And I say one of because there's a wonderful cast. It's all right if you like more than one, but who was one of your favorite characters and
Okay, so
why?
it's 3 books ago. So I was trying to remember. Um, I liked Groundhog, but I think he's only in the second book. I've been trying to furiously
No,
remember
he's
whether.
in the first book.
Okay, yes. Well,
Yeah.
him. Well, all of them for different reasons, but I really love Groundhog because you always need that friend who can fight, who knows everyone, can do everything, and knows where to help you bury the bodies. But I also actually liked Caliban because I don't know. To me, it was almost like um, he was battling with his literal demon, but it was almost like to me like someone who has their mental health demons or whatever, and they're having to go through that thing and deal with things and come to terms with the fact that it's there and learn to do stuff. And of course, with my PTSD and stuff, I've been doing that. So I think I felt connected more to him than the others. But I love Slate. I love Brenna, even though Brenna does what Brenna does. But that's yeah, no, yeah. But yeah, so yes.
Yes, excellent. Thank you, Karen.
Like Edmund to a certain extent, especially when the end.
Yes. Oh, yes. Wonderful. Kelsey, hello, my friends. You are muted. It's all right.
I have it
Hello.
on mute. We have a thunderstorm thinking about rolling in.
Oh, good. Excellent. It is definitely that sort of day for book chat. But you're here. I'm so happy you're here, especially as you're our author for next month. How exciting. So good. We're next month we're reading Kelsey's fantastic book that Bill has held up, Forsaken Beauty and the Ether Beast. Get ready for good times. But Kelsey, you are an avid reader. You have read this book. Who was one of your favorite characters?
It is really hard for me to decide, but I absolutely adore the dynamic between Slate and Caliban. I just love them so much because they're both like so wounded, and I love that camaraderie there. And like in the early days of Slate being like, well, does she pay attention to me or not? And then he's like completely taken aback whenever she tells him to get out before the tattoo happens. I just thought that was such a funny moment between them in those early days of their meet cute. And I need to read the second one because I really need them to be together, and I hope nothing bad happens to them.
Yes. Well, we won't. For those of us who've read The Wonder Engine, we're going to try our utmost to not talk about things from The Wonder Engine. But it is really good that that book is already published and available because, boy, are we left with a lot of questions at the end of Clockwork Boys. So,
Yes.
thank you, Kelsey. All right, Ronald. Hello, my friend.
Hi there.
Hi.
I,
It's good to have you here.
well, I'm glad. I'm glad to be here. I'm sorry my video seems to be really blurred for some reason, and I can't do anything about it. But
You know
well,
what, Ronald? It's a full moon, and it is definitely like, I'm not usually superstitious, but we're going to blame it on astrology right now.
that sounds good to me. That sounds good to me. But I'll continue anyway. You don't need
Yeah.
to see me. Uh, uh,
So
one,
please share who was one of your favorite characters.
actually, it's like before. As others said, it's difficult to choose because this book was so good, so funny, and everybody had a part of that, and
Yes.
it was really really extraordinary. And I guess probably my favorite was Slate because she she is pretty much the focal character, and
Yes.
she's got a background which uh slowly evolves. Now I've read the second book. I just couldn't stop. As soon as I read the first one, I had to leap into the second one. And
Yes.
and I can see how certain little things in the book are it's foreshadowing and all that, which is really good. Shit, T. Kingfisher does a great job in that. But as I say, I think she is my favorite character
Mm.
because of all the nuances that she has, and I love the the inner and the interior monologues of all the characters, which is really good. This is a very very modern sounding and feeling fantasy novel. And at
Yeah.
first, I was kind of taken a little bit aback, but I jumped right into it, and I thought it was a great way to do it. And that interior monologue brings out so much, and it enhances her character much more than some of the others, I feel. So I think that
Yes.
I liked her. Plus, she has some great one-liners. So
She really does. She's so funny. Yes. Thank you, Ronald. I love that. Hannah, welcome to book club.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So I posed to you the same question as I've posed to everyone. Who was one of your favorite characters and why?
So right now it's Slate, I think. I just like how she doesn't really take crap from anybody, and she kind of just is like, well, too bad. This is the way we're doing it. Um, but I think because I just ordered the Wonder Engine from the library, so I think the Knoll is gonna become my favorite. I
Yeah.
started reading Paladin's Grace on Libby because it was the same author, and
Yes.
I read that one first and I picked this one up and I was like, wait a minute, there's some crossovers here. So it was kind of interesting. Like, that's why I think the Knoll's going to be one of my favorites because I liked the Knoll in Paladin's Grace, and I'm in
Yes.
Paladin's Strength right now. So I I just have this feeling that he's going to be like one of my favorites.
You know, honestly, if you enjoyed this book, and you want more of this world, she has a bunch of books like Paladin's Grace and Sword Heart that are in the same world and have like some of those ancillary characters. And you also get more Knolls. And who doesn't love the Knolls? Hannah, happy reading with those because they're very good. Yeah, excellent. Patrice, hello, friends.
Um, I really like Slade a lot. I really like the Knolls, but I kind of like all the characters. They all work so well together. It wouldn't be as good without all of them. And I already started the second book because you couldn't stop.
No, it's very hard to stop. It's very hard to stop at the end of this first book. I agree entirely. Patrice, I'm so happy you're here and enjoying the book. And I agree, the alchemy between all the characters is so strong. It's a real piece of the magic of the story, if you will.
Yeah, I just don't know how she came up with all the ideas, just, especially the deer creatures. Those were amazing.
The rune, yes,
The
absolutely.
Rue.
I hope that you will join me in August for the Sip the Tea with T. Kingfisher, because then you can ask her directly, how did you come up with these great characters? Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Patrice. Alicia, hello.
Hello.
Welcome. So, my friend, who was one of your favorite characters?
Um, I loved I again, like other people have said, the dynamic between Brennan and Slate. Um, I just now I want a pin that just says "Shut up, Brennan." Every time they said that, all I could think of was the Big Lebowski. Shut up, Johnny.
Oh, no, it's so they have a really funny rapport, right? Especially
They
in this
do.
first book.
Yeah, it's just it's like it's like he still holds a torch, but he also knows that he no longer has a chance. But well, maybe, just maybe. And
Maybe.
just keep trying. And she's just like, just no, dude.
Moved on. Did you see that tall guy over there?
Yeah. And yeah, and I did like the paladin in that. I'm reading this like, okay, somebody really hates paladins or hates traditionally how paladins are written because this is not how they're normally written. And then I read the thing at the end and I went, yeah, that checks.
Yes. And if you read Paladin's Hope and Paladin's Strength, you will even get some more of that.
Yeah.
She clearly has some opinions about Paladins.
Well, and I get it because having played Neverwinter Nights 2 and tried to play the paladin, it was like I could throw my computer in the dumpster, but then I'd have no computer. It would just make me turn it off in rage and just walk away like paladin. So I get it. I
Absolutely.
understand why this book was written.
Well, I am so happy. We may get into talking about paladins some more in the chat, but I'm glad you brought them up because Caliban is a whole vibe so much, right?
Yeah, but I do want a pin that says "Shut up."
Who knows? It might be arranged. We have done weirder things around here.
I might if I can. Oh, I can't make it to the Sips of the Tea because that's the weekend of Key City, so I probably won't make it.
That's all right.
But I'll pop
That's
in
all
on
right.
Facebook and mention that.
Yes, and also if
Yeah,
you
you
send
need to
me a
make these
question,
pins so we can buy them.
right? And if you send me a question, I will ask. I will ask for you. The sip the tea, by the way, since folks are asking, is at 10 a.m. Pacific time in the United States. I don't know what 10 a.m. Pacific time is in Australia. I don't know. It might be something ungodly, so I apologize. All right.
It's butt crack early.
It's back. Yeah. Not, I'm not surprised. I am, it is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it will be recorded so you can watch it later at your leisure.
What day is that on?
That is Saturday, August the 9th. Wonderful. Thank you. Marty, hello, friends.
Hi.
Hi. So my question for you is, who is one of your favorite characters?
Well, as a retired CPA, it has to be Slate. I love an action figure who's an accountant. And I am going to order the second book.
Excellent. Yes. She's clearly a very good accountant.
Yes,
a little nefarious, but very good at it.
No, I was never a forger. But I really enjoyed her. I mean, yes, accountants can have fun.
Yes.
Yes. We can get out from behind the computer.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Marty, I love that you had this sort of connection with Slate as a CPA, that you got to see an accountant doing wonderful things. I will say that one of the joys of T. Kingfisher is that she often makes her heroines older and a little bit unusual compared to the general run of the sort of speculative fiction, fantasy fiction kind of genre. And so Slate definitely falls into that, where she's a little bit older. She's an accountant and a forger. Definitely not the things you would normally expect from the heroine of this sort of story. But I think it really works. So
it does. It did. And I am older or oldest.
I don't know if you're oldest, but we're all older here. Yes. So you're in good company.
I know Thank that. You. That's why I'm here.
Thank you, Marty. It's so good to have you back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Lady June Squirrel, my friend, it's your turn.
Oh, I'm adjusting my camera here. I see that you got a microphone after last night.
No,
or the other night, whenever that was.
I'm actually using my phone.
Oh, okay. Okay. Anyway, well, if anybody read the author's note in the back, they would see that this book was written over a long period of time, 10 plus years, and it was written as one book. And I never played Dungeons and Dragons, but it seems to me that this is the quest, right? With a paladin and a cleric and a forger, a thief and an assassin. I just think they're missing a bard, or maybe, but maybe that's Grimehug, who is my favorite character.
Grimehug is such a great character, and if he's not the bard, he is at least in that charm adjacent type of category. Yes.
So if anyone has not read the second book, they must immediately go out and read the second book, because it's the culmination of everything. So
It really is.
and they're very good. And I had read some of her other books, but they tend recently towards more horror, and I don't
Mhm.
care for that. But I have not read the Paladin books. But if they're about our sweet Caliban, oh my God, I just got jumped on by a Chihuahua. I will be happy to read them.
They are actually about some other paladins,
Oh
but
well,
they
that's okay.
they have a similar sort of quality to them, and
Yeah.
they are not. They do not lean into the horror aspect, so they're more like Clockwork Boys, Wonder Engine, also Sword
Oh,
Heart. So yeah.
yeah, but her recent stuff is pretty scary.
No, I agree with you. Sorceress Comes to Call
Yeah.
is such a good book and is very scary as
Yeah.
well. So,
Okay.
uh,
Anyway,
thank you, Lady June Squirrel. Yes, three cheers for Grime Hug. He's a fantastic,
it's
fantastic character.
really, really good book. I every time I read it, I enjoy it more.
Wonderful. And so Kelsey says there are more books coming after Sword Heart. So that's good news for all of us because it's a lovely universe.
Think,
Um,
oh, I think it's going to be a trilogy, but with different
ooh,
characters.
ooh, fantastic. Well, it's sort of set up for that, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Anne, it's your turn, my friend. Hello.
Yet once again, I have not finished the book.
That's all right.
Our air conditioning went out, so my husband and I have been spending more time together. So we've been doing 40K books for Warhammer. So, but the starting of this, I liked how they kind of tricked the person into coming with them,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's when I had to set it down. But it I want to hear it, and I don't mind spoilers, which is why I love coming here because everybody has such different opinions about it that I get a fuller view of the book. And
Oh,
so, besides being here with my friends, that's one of the other reasons I come. So, thanks for having it this time. It's a good book.
thank you, Anne. And I'm so happy you can be with us whenever you're able. And you never, ever have to finish the book to join us. We're not like that. We're just happy to have you here. Sharon, it's your turn. Hello and welcome to Book Club.
Hello, this is my first book club ever of any kind. So
Oh my
I
goodness.
was excited. The book looked interesting and fun, and it was. So I was really happy. I was holding off on getting that second one because I didn't want to hear the spoilers that might have come, until I read it or until I at least finished the first one. So I'm okay with the spoilers today, but
Good.
makes me more anxious to read it. Um, but I think my favorite um, is Caliban. I fell in love with him when he said on page 27, I've been possessed, arrested, exorcised, and locked in a cell for 4 months. There's a dead demon rotting somewhere in the back of my soul. What do you expect? And then I fell more in love with him when I found out, okay, he always has handkerchiefs. That is just, which is so tongue in cheek. Like I felt like that was so like, what do you expect the paladin to do? She threw that in there about that he always had to have handkerchiefs for Slate, it was like her making fun of the character that she wrote for him by making
Yes.
him have to have hankies available for someone to drop, to pick up, to whatever, just
Yes.
his little chivalry person. But yeah, and because he is so hurt and he is so aware of his faults, because he's aware of that pride
Mhm.
is his downfall, and trying to fix that, and that he is so imperfect, and yet a paladin is supposed to be the most perfect
Yes.
character in anything, right? The most holy, um the most chivalrous, the most giving of themselves, and I feel like he knows he's a way off from that, um and it's interesting the emotions that they're showing, when he's a little jealous of Slade and Brenner's relationship, and he's got all these emotions and feelings that maybe he shouldn't be having as a paladin. But yeah, so it's just, I really like the way she wrote him. And I was interested too. Like, I thought starting that, okay, well, this book is going to be about Slade. This is going to be about Slade because she's the starter of the group, and you don't really get her backstory. So I was waiting for like more of her backstory. It's okay, so that must be in book 2. So I'm waiting for that book 2 to get more of her backstory about why she doesn't want to go in this town. And but yeah, so I enjoyed the book a lot.
Thank you,
So
Sharon. And I'm so happy you've joined us. I hope you will continue to come and join us for our chats. We have a lovely time.
I'm looking forward to them. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
You're welcome. Hello, Jim, my friend. Hello. All right. Let's hear from you. Who was one of your favorite characters?
Well, this may sound a little weird, but I was struck. I'm reading and reading, and I'm really enjoying it. But in a way, I thought nothing big is happening here, but I don't care. It's so much fun to watch these guys just wrangle around with one another. And I had the same issue that Sharon said, like, okay, we're Slade because we're getting to get inside Slade's head. And then suddenly we're in Caliban's head. And it was interesting. We don't quite ever get in Brenner's head. We have to keep seeing it from the outside. And there were a lot of fun characters. And then I kept coming back to the only other Caliban I knew from The Tempest. And like, why did she pick that title? Was she also trying to tell us something here? Because he's this evil guy and all. I mean, he's not a paladin at all in The Tempest. And so that was interesting to see. But I liked, yeah, I understood Caliban I mean, I don't know, but many of us have been somewhere where, man, we did something just really badly out of character. And how do we ever get back from that? And, are we really who we thought we were? We were this good, nice person, and then we did something really crappy or bad or even evil. And now we have to live with it. And and she is so inventing. I mean, flesh-eating tattoos that eat you if you don't do your job. I mean, my gosh, I was like, wow, what else could she think up? And then we go on, and oh yeah, and yeah, I love Grime Hug. I mean, I loved her. Like, how do you imagine the cross between a badger and a haystack? I mean, I just like how it was fun to try to see them in your own mind. But I guess, yeah, I guess I liked Caliban. And the last thing about him was I just thought being a guy, you get with somebody you're getting interested in, and you say the stupidest things when you're trying to figure out what to say or do, and then you're just killed by this dumb stuff that didn't go at all like you wanted. So, yeah, I didn't slay any nuns, but I guess I've been Caliban sometime.
Well, excellent. Thank you, Jim. Yeah, Caliban is certainly a great character, isn't he? So complicated. Scorn Mistress, I see you bustling about. Are you available to share who one of your favorite characters was?
Yeah. So we love Slade. I'm also a really big fan of character growth, and I also have actually read the books, and I read both books. And Brother Edmund snuck up on me, like, because he has this massive growth. And I'll aside, I won't say much because she's in the second book, but Ash's Magnus was just like, yes, I need more. I need more of this person. Yes. And yeah, I understand that this character, it's a minor character, but this character was like, yes, because she was part of Edmund's character growth of but also we gonna be nerds right now. It was like so good.
So good. Yeah, no, I'm so glad you brought up Learned Edmund, because I agree, he has so much character growth over the course of the 2 books. I think perhaps he has the most growth of them all. And I'm also delighted, even though that character's in the Wonder Engine. So if you are wondering who Scorn Mistress is talking about, you will meet this character in the second part of the story. But she's a fantastic secondary character. And I think that T. Kingfisher has a real gift for making every character so vivid. There are no throwaway cardboard characters in her stories. And Ash is just a perfect example.
And I wanted to thank you for doing this book because I've had, people as I do a lot of book talk, people tell me how much they love T. Kingfisher. And the first T. Kingfisher book I read was attempted to read was A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. And it was billed as this amazing, cozy fantasy, magical baking book. And it'd be dark. It'd be dark. There'd be horror in there. And I had DNF it because I was like, this is not the ride I want to be on.
Yes, yes. This one is, we had this conversation a little bit in the Discord. T. Kingfisher has quite the range. She started out as a children's author and illustrator and has moved into adult fiction, and her adult fiction is incredibly varied. But the horror is not for everyone. And when she writes horror, she does an amazing job of it. So if you are easily freaked out as I am, it may not be for you. But these are like little perfect cream puffs, and I adore them. So yeah. Oh, Bill is asking the hard questions in the chat. Thank you, Bill. All right, Chuck, my friend, it's so good to see you, looking incredibly dapper as always. I really appreciate that you come so done up to book chat. So, my friend, please share who one of your favorite characters was.
Well, thank you. I try to look the part. It's good to wear the hat more than once a year.
Yes.
Right. And thank you to you and to Bill for organizing this, getting us all together. It's always a treat to get together with other book people. Yeah, so, indeed. So the character I really I guess really liked was is Caliban. So I'm constantly saying in my life, I'm constantly saying the wrong thing, or when I mean to do one thing and it's the wrong thing comes out, or things get misinterpreted and things like that, and constantly. And Caliban is struggling with this through the whole. I was just like everyone else. I couldn't stop at the first book. There was such a big cliffhanger. I was like, it's just one more book. All right, I'll get this. I gotta see this through to the end. So yes, but yeah, his inner struggle and that always saying the wrong thing at the wrong possible moment and having things, I was like, I meant it to go this way, but things go that way. And so yeah, seeing that struggle, I'm like, I'm not alone, I guess.
You are not. You are not. Chuck, may I say, you always say perfect things here in book chat, though.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you. It's good to have you here.
Indeed.
All right, Phyllis, my friend, are you ready to share who was one of your favorite characters?
I think throughout it all, Slate was still one of my favorites. Just the snarkiness had me giggling out loud at places, and the tension between her and Caliban just made you want to scream out loud sometimes.
Yes. Oh my goodness. They're great. I laughed out loud reading this too. I think she's really good at the funny dialogue and observations, and it sort of changes the normal tone of a fantastical novel, which I really appreciate. It's not funny like Terry Pratchett is funny, but it's still funny. Yeah. Thank you, Phyllis. I love that. All right, Karen, before I steal any more of your observations, I just want to warn you that you're going to be up very shortly. But I want to check in with Bill, our buttery goodness, who so often gets to like slide by without having to answer any questions. So sneaky. All right, buttery goodness. Who was one of your favorite characters in the book?
In that book, just by itself, I would have to say probably Caliban. With Slate, Slade and Caliban change places as my favorite character about every half hour when I'm thinking about it.
I love that.
There was that and the dynamic between them was really interesting, and it gets more interesting in the Wonder Engine too.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Thank you, Bill. Thank you. All right, Karen. Bill has primed the pump a little bit. So in the chat, Bill asked everyone, do you think this book is steampunk or not? Well, I want to take that idea, but take it a step further. Because whether or not a book is steampunk, it has to have some elements. So my question, whether or not this is steampunk or steampunk adjacent, it does have some elements in it that could be steampunk. So what I want to know from you, our dear author from Australia, what is a steampunk element that really stuck out in this story for you?
Well, the name is Clockwork Boys for a start. There is clockwork stuff which is mentioned a bit in the first one, but it's more in the second one. So I think the second one technically is probably more steampunk. But I think too, you've got the punk part where these are characters that are doing their own thing no matter what society does, and people forget the punk part of steampunk a lot. I mean, traditionally science fiction was, if you want to, well, there's still the debate about science fiction or fantasy, isn't there? Was a comment on society, and I think that there is a comment on society there. You know, people that you think you just want to toss out can actually end up being very important. So I suppose that probably, because otherwise there wasn't a lot of gadgets in the first one that I thought was steampunk. So yeah, does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense, and I love that observation. As an aside, or rather as a follow on to that, my favorite part of steampunk is always the social commentary. So that tends to be what I latch onto. Are you done? Okay. Monsieur is going to be very helpful today, as you can see. So thank you, Karen. That's a wonderful observation. I'm very happy you went there because I think the punk part of steampunk is so fun.
People forget about it. And
yeah,
sort of
they do.
In with the thing is also a bit of punky too.
Yes, absolutely. Cake. All right. He's being a little bit demanding off camera. So my apologies. Hannah, I'm going to come to you next. And I see that you went to your first steampunk convention in the autumn. You went to TeslaCon, I think. One of the preeminent steampunk conventions in North America. Really fantastic place. It's very traditionally steampunk. There's lots of gadgets and things. So you've been exposed to the nonsense in person. And my question for you is, what's something that felt really steampunk about this book for you? What was a quality of the book that felt steampunk?
The mention of like the Centaur Clockwork Boys, but then I felt like it was going to get more with the Wonder Machine that they found at the end, or the Wonder Engine, or whatever it's called.
Yes.
So I feel like that's in the second book going to really explode. I should have known better by the size of this book and where I was like, this is not going to resolve. There has got to be a book too, and I didn't order it from the library in time, so now I'm waiting. But at first, when they mentioned the Clockwork Boys, I was like, okay, hello. But then once they got to the machine thingy, I was like, okay, where are we going to go with this? So that was.
Yes. No, it's definitely like, I think there's some themes going on, and it's definitely building up to book 2, which, as Lady June Squirrel and several of us have said, you definitely just read book 2. So I'm glad you've got it reserved from your library so you can get to it. Lady June Squirrel, you're up next, my friend.
I'm up next to do what?
What's something you felt was steampunk in this book?
Oh God, thought you were going to ask me what was my favorite scene, which was the can I answer that instead?
Yes,
Well,
you may
I
answer
mean,
that instead.
well, they're steampunk. They're all gears. If you they don't know quite why but if you look at the Clockwork Boys or the clock towers, they're all these interlocking gears that are working, and of course you see more of that in the second book. But my favorite scene is the scene of all the half rats marching to the runes home.
Yes. It's sort of creepy and sort of like a sort of demonic
It's
Pied
very creepy,
Piper.
very
Yeah,
creepy. But I liked it. I could just it somehow she manages to produce um, scenes that are very visual for me, so I could just see the little creatures walking.
absolutely. Yeah, no, it's like visceral, it's very vivid, it comes right off the page and like sets the scene. Wonderful. Yeah, I love that scene too. It's so creepy, but I don't like feel it's creepy, but I wasn't freaked out. I could keep reading. Does that make sense? Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Lady June Squirrel. Great question. Wonderful answer. I may propose that question to everyone else when we're done with this one. Thank you. All right, Marty, my friend. What was something about this book that felt really steampunk to you?
Well, of course, the title and the fact that they drink tea.
They
But
do.
what's usually with steampunk, though, I think of being in cities, and this is very rural. So that, yeah, it's not. So that's why I'm not sure. Other than the fact that we're going to be dealing with the Clockwork Boys, that would be steampunk. But have you read anything else where it's supposedly steampunk, but they're out in the country?
Yes, I have. I have read some. Well, I mean, our dear friend Robert Darlane, his books are sort of more pastoral. They're in a small town, it's a little bit rural, and they drink a lot of tea and eat a lot of sarnies, and they have adventures, and it's wonderful. They're very cozy. So, yeah, as an example, but they're out there, slightly more pastoral experience. Um, and this is definitely out in the wilds, tramping through the woods and all of that kind of nonsense, right?
Well, I will be ordering the second book.
Good, good, Marty. I hope you enjoy it. I think it's a really great continuation of the story.
I think so too. By the way, that first book we read, I forget the name now, but I had to go read the second and third ones.
Oh, good.
It escapes me. From
Was
a
it
couple of months ago.
Well, I don't remember either. We've read a lot of books this year already, and I've lost track of when it was. Temeraire, rather.
No, that was the first one. It was after that when all the daughters were gathering up. Frankenstein's daughter.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter.
Yes. I finally read 2 and 3.
Oh, good. Good.
So,
I hope you enjoyed them.
I like this one better.
Oh, well, good. Thank you, Marty.
Thank you.
All right, Jim, my friend. So looking at this book, thematically or maybe aesthetically, what stood out to you as steampunk?
Well, let me preface it by saying I live in West Texas, which is one of the steampunk deserts in the world of steampunk people. So trying to figure out, just reading about it, what steampunk is, I thought it leaned more to magic and all. And even it's called Clockwork Boys, but I've almost started the second one, but they're really clock tars. They're these centaur things. So again, I'm like, and the gears were like on them, not like barnacles. So to me, steampunk has that gear. I mean, something is working. It's about machinery. It's about inventing some kind of technology that was in a time you don't expect it. So I think we're going to get there. And I thought that someone else said, I thought the Wonder Engine, that has to be that thing because it clearly does something, and yet nobody knows how it works. But I felt we were really reading, which I liked. It was a book about magic and all that. And I'm even are the Clockwork Boys, are they really clockwork, or are they more driven by magic? So I'll be interested to find out what happens in there. So
Yes.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Thank you, Jim. Wonderful. Also, West Texas is sort of a desert for lots of things, isn't it?
Well, it's a real desert, but I mean, I love it out here. But yeah, the closest steampunk I think is Dallas. So someday I will actually make it to a real convention.
Excellent. Yeah, no, you're probably midway between Dallas and Tucson at that point. So
Yeah,
come
I
out to
actually live
Wild
in
West Con.
yeah, I actually live in Midland, which is halfway between Fort Worth and El Paso.
Oh my
So
goodness.
yep,
Yeah, it's a bit of a trek, but you should still come out to Wild West Con.
I
That
almost
happens in
did. I
March.
almost did. I'm planning to.
Good.
That
Excellent. Well,
and what's the one they do the Gory Edmund Gory stuff, Edward Gorey. I really want to go to that one out in
ooh.
California in
Oh,
January, February, somewhere along in there, where they do one
yes,
of Edward Gorey's stories. I mean, I love Edward Gorey. I have to get one of those. So
he's fantastic. I love him.
yes,
I think you're talking about the Edwardian ball they
yes,
do.
Edwardian Ball. Yes,
Mhm.
yes. I,
It's
I,
so good.
I I'm determined to get there.
Excellent. Yeah, and as Alicia says, the Edwardian ball in San Francisco. Absolutely, it looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. All right, Scone Mistress, it's your turn if you're available.
No.
Hello. So, what was something that struck you either thematically, aesthetically, or technologically as steampunk in this book?
Um, I think it's more the second book, how there's an artificer's porter, and that, kind of happened to try to keep the explosions from the rest of the city.
Yes. So good.
But
I
also
love that.
there's also a lot of like unexpected things, especially with the Knolls,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel steampunk, there's a lot of, you have new technology that people don't know, but also it's willing to explore like other groups and their view of it.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of social themes in the first book that fall in line with the sort of social commentary punk aspect of steampunk. And then we get the technology payoff in book two, is my sort of personal take. For anyone who's like, but I want gadgets, book two, absolutely. Thank you, Scone Mistress. All right, Chuck, it is your turn, my friend.
All right. I think the first book is more about the story and character development and all of that, gathering everything together and getting people in the right positions and getting what's going on. And there's the Clockwork Boys and the machinery and all that stuff is out there, and they're heading towards it. They're on their path, and they're on their quest, and they're getting towards it. So there's not it's more about, I think that the first book is more about the development and getting everything worked together, and then the second book is where all the gadgets and gears and things kind of present themselves. So
Wonderful. Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it. All right, Phyllis, my friend, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think everyone has summed it up real well at the moment. There is a brief mention that puts it in that steampunk genre, but it mostly is kind of magic, the character development, which still I was thrilled with, went right on to book two.
Excellent. Yes, it's a good payoff. Lady June Squirrel gave us all very good advice to go read that book. So, all right, Alicia, what are your thoughts, my friend?
I think the punk elements in this story, I think, are more social. But I also think a lot of it too is a commentary on the fantasy aspect where you expect Paladin to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And he's not. He's like, oh, I am an arrogant jerk, aren't I? Well, I just am. He just accepts that. He's like, yeah, I guess I am an arrogant jerk. But just playing on those ideas, and pieces of it was like, wait, this is my gaming group. There's things that Slate has done where it's like, yeah, that didn't turn out well for me either.
Yeah. Yes.
There's things in there that I have done.
Very like it definitely it like Lady June Squirrel mentioned that as well, that it seemed like it was following that sort of Dungeons and Dragons adventure party vibe, and I think that's right. I mean, the Paladin is on the nose, but we really do have these characters not only as the archetypes of the adventure group, but also very like real people playing the characters at the D&D table, rolling dice, like, you know,
Playing for the viewpoint. Okay, this is paper, not, I've spent 6 months researching and crafting this, and I'm just going to role play this to the nines, and you're all going to hate me.
So
it's not
good.
that player. It's okay. This is paper, and I'll try and keep it alive as long as I can. And if I can't, I can roll a new one up in an hour.
Right? No, it was so good. I love that aspect of the story. And by the
Yeah.
by, if you like a little, if you like fantasy and you enjoyed this and you want more of that like D&D kind of vibe to your stories, I highly recommend Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. That's such a great little book. Yeah.
Yeah, my husband read that, and he was very disappointed that the second book isn't about the original characters in the first book because he really liked them.
Yes.
But I'm like, no, just keep reading. But
hold on. Yeah, and there's a book 3 is out in November, mentions Karen. Yes, very exciting.
yeah,
So
he really liked those, and there's still a might to be read list, but I'm actually chunking through some of my other stuff, which I have another one that maybe, I mean, you could put it in book club. I would say it's fantasy, but it's like Gaslight adjacent. But I can make you read this book in 3 words: vampires, female dandy.
oh no, you absolutely got me there. That I'm sold. Just send us
It's
the
a female
title.
dandy and there's vampires.
We'll see what we can do. Or post the title in the chat, or tell us all the title now. We all want to know.
I don't have the book with me, but it's called A Poison Steeped in Tea.
Oh, A Poison Steeped in Tea. Well, that sounds like our cuppa.
And I can't remember her name because it is she is Arabic, but I don't know from where. But it was on my book list like last year, and I had to go to Barnes and Noble and get another book for my spooky book club because I couldn't. It was like I can buy the physical copy for $10, or I can buy the Kindle for $10. I think I'll go to Barnes and Noble.
Yes, good choices. Well,
and I picked it up there and was like, oh, right. Yeah. Okay. I guess I'll pick this up too.
Yes. So, and I believe that, Karen, did you just post the author in the chat too? I'll come and ask you in just a moment. All right. Thank you, Alicia. Patrice, my friend, what did you think? Themes, aesthetic, other elements, did anything sort of resonate with you as a steampunk element in the book? You are muted, my friends.
The Clockwork Boys, for one thing, but they didn't have a lot of it. They kind of talked about them as a concept, and then they showed the gears towards the end. But just how the people were with each other also made me think of it. So those were the 2 things.
Thank you, Patrice. Yeah, I think they have a certain kind of irreverence, both for social standards and also for this situation that gives me a little bit of a steampunk vibe. Yeah, wonderful. And the word from the chat is the book is A Poison Steeped in Tea by Judy I. Lynn. Thank you, researchers, for your quick research. Sharon, my friend, what did you think? Did any elements sort of resonate with you as sort of steampunk vibes, aesthetic, themes, what have you?
Since I'm still kind of new to the steampunk vibe, of course, everybody's already said the obvious things.
Mm.
I also felt like, the badass female character, because I feel like steampunk is full of women in power, where they're taking their own power. Right now in book one, she kind of accidentally she's given this power that she doesn't want. She doesn't need it, she doesn't want it, she wishes she didn't have it, you know but I'm assuming that as we continue to move through the books, that she's going to become that person who is going to be that woman who has that control. So right now you feel like everything's just out of control for her, and that everything that happens is accidental. She's relying on the scent of the rosemary or whatever to kind of help her, instead of her own instincts and her natural ability to lead and to figure out what's going on with those around her, and just um using the skills that she has. But I feel like that's something that to me kind of like feels like a steampunky thing, but I could be
Yes.
wrong on that,
No,
you
no,
know.
you're not wrong.
Maybe that's
That's
those social elements that people are alluding to,
mhm,
maybe.
mhm. That's
Um,
definitely part of it. And also sharing, on one hand, you've come to a great place to learn more about steampunk. On the other hand, I hold an incredibly broad perspective on what steampunk is, and I am an incredibly irreverent, insouciant person. So I'm like, what are definitions anyway? I can make an argument for almost anything. So
and I can too. I'm a
good,
whiz at spinning anything into any way I want. I
perfect,
always
perfect. You're in
so,
exactly
but
the right
thank you for
place.
being all accepting and forgiving.
Absolutely. No, we take a very broad approach to steampunk, Bill and I. So you're in the perfect place. Thank you, Sharon. I love that. And yes, a strong woman in charge is definitely a regular trope in steampunk, and I really love that. Wonderful. Sharon, keep coming back and reading books with us. Yeah. Ronald, my friend, man of mystery today. What did you think? What sort of resonated with you as a steampunk element in this book?
Well, initially, like other people said, that just the title, the Clockwork Boys,
Mm,
and then when you get into the Clock Tours, but when you see them, they're like a little, they're really look awkward, steampunky things. But
mhm,
when I got into the second book, you have the certain feelings or whatever in the first book, but when
mhm.
you get into the second one, it's kind of amplified. And for me, the real steampunky aspect was the artificers, the ones
Yeah,
that are making all of the things, and usually they're blowing up. So that's typical in steampunk. So in the first book, not so much. It's just kind of like maybe a kind of a vague feeling, but all the characters are meshing and all of that. And I do want to say that this is probably the funniest book I have ever read within the last 20 years. That because I don't read, humorous books normally, but this one had me laughing out loud all the time. And I was highlighting in my Kindle. I've got 233 highlights, and most of them are the one-liners and the humorous things, like on page 40, where where Brenner says something to Caliban to the sense, in the sense of, oh, you're going to some night you're going to kill our Slade, are you? And he says, not if you're nearby. And that was just great. I just fell over
Yes.
when I read that.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And also, Ronald, I must warn you that if you want humorous books, I have recommendations for you.
Yes.
Yes, I will have to put together a list again. I think I have someone somewhere of humorous steampunk
Ah,
reads because there are not that many actually. But
right.
this certainly is very funny, very droll. And yes, Karen is putting up the queen of comedy in steampunk and irreverence, and that is our darling Gail Carriger, Madam Gale's very funny. But honestly, T. Kingfisher is incredibly droll, and if you ever have the opportunity to hear her speak at a convention or as a panelist, she is equally as funny in person as she is on
Mm,
the page. So, yeah,
I
it
would
comes
love that.
very,
Yeah.
very naturally. Yes. Well, thank you, Ronald. I'm so happy you pointed that out because I love the humor in this book as well.
Good.
So fantastic. Um, and yes, Sharon, I will pull up my list again of funny steampunk books. It's probably good to put it back out there in the world. But if you haven't read Gail Carriger, get in on that. She's wonderful. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. All right, Kelsey, uh, coming around to you, my friend. So you're an author. You write steampunk things. What did you think? What struck you as a steampunk element in this book?
Aside from what everybody has said about the comments on society and like the buildup for potential steampunk, I think the original mission is very steampunk with going to investigate mysterious technology that we just
Yeah.
don't understand. I thought that that was a perfect setup. And knowing now that it was written as one book, it makes a lot more sense that
Yeah.
those other elements are going to be later on, and I just haven't gotten to those. But I thought that the whole concept of the Clockwork Boys and like it overwhelming their soldiers and they just don't understand. I thought that that was a very realistic way to do steampunk because I like steampunk books in particular where the technology is very much tied into the people that it comes from. I thought, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the name, but the book by same guy who wrote the Punk My Airship one.
Oh,
Read it for book club, the
yes.
Jamaica one.
Yep. Oh, yes.
It's on my shelf. But what I'll peek over and look
Yes,
at it in a
Maurice
minute. But
Broaddus. Thank you, Bill. It's by Maurice Broaddus.
yes, and he's just
Yes.
brilliant. And what I liked about this is that it felt very realistic to me that the technology and the magic is going to be different depending on which country you're talking about, which city we're talking about. And
Yeah.
I thought that that was an interesting twist on the steampunk because I enjoyed what he does with that as well because he does a really good job of that with the Jamaican tech versus American versus or the colonizers stuff. But it just kind of made me think of that. And I'm excited to see in the next book like where it's more steampunky. But I like it.
Yes. Oh, wonderful observations. Thank you, Kelsey. And I'm so happy you reminded us all of Maurice Broaddus. He's quite a writer. Pimp My Airship is less funny than you might think, but is a really interesting book. And if you're into the Harlem Renaissance and jazz poetry, it will be up your cup. It will be up your tree. It will be your cup of tea. I don't know what idiom I'm trying to use, so it's fine.
We're just
Um,
going to mix them. It's fine.
that's where I'm at. Look, we're having the MacGyver of book clubs today, so I'm just happy you can hear me. But thank you, Kelsey. Great observations. Bill, my buttery goodness, my partner in all nonsense. What was a steampunk element that really stuck out for you?
So I want to talk a bit for a minute about why I posted that question in the chat in the first place.
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned earlier, we have a very broad definition of what steampunk is, and we constantly talk about how we read steampunk and steampunk adjacent books. And this was a fabulous book. And like so many of you, I had to run out and luckily we had it on hand. I had to pick up because Tracy bought them a couple of years ago. I had to start reading the second book immediately and blew through that very quickly too. And oh my God, if you haven't read it yet, there's some surprises in store for you, let me tell you. But the reason I brought this up is because when we read Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky back in February, there was at least one steampunk Facebook group that rejected the post about it. You know, the information post saying this is coming up, and their reasoning was it was not steampunk. And so that just got me thinking. And I think steampunk is one of those things that's really in the eye of the beholder in a lot of ways. It's first of all, it's alternate history. So trying to say this is steampunk and this isn't really falls flat for me because it's a made up thing in the first place. So how can we define it that rigorously when there's so much that could fall into that category really easily? And I think this book achieves that admirably. Yes, the clock towers, the steampunk boys are not in this book a lot, and as has been pointed out several times previously, this was originally one book, and T. Kingfisher's editor said, no, we need to split this up. And that was the perfect spot to split it too, because you're left hanging and you've got to get the second book and keep going with it. So that was kind of genius marketing right there. So yeah, I think it easily falls into Madam and my definition of steampunk, which is pretty broad.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the steampunk elements, obviously the clock towers are a big part of that, but as Kelsey mentioned, the whole mission in the first place is really steampunk, and you know, the fact that Slate is kind of this troublesome person that they're kind of trying to get rid of, and she takes charge in a lot of ways and is probably the smartest one in the group. Maybe Brenner, it's hard to say. That's another steampunk trope too, is the really clever woman who basically takes on the system.
Yes, absolutely. And is not going to be bound by the status quo. Absolutely. Oh, I love that. And yes, Bill and I are very much kindred spirits in our desire to make it very broad. We like to welcome more into steampunk rather than less. And since we put together the reading list every year, we we bring that agenda with us to our book picks. So and also good night, Scott Mistress. I'm so happy you could be here with us for a while and bring the Hobbit by for a bit. It's really good to have you here. So we are coming towards the end of our time. And of course, I'm still going to ask you a final question. This will be more of a lightning round, I suppose. But before we get into our last question, Bill, would you like to introduce our book for next month's pick and our wonderful author guest that we're going to have?
And she's in this room. Dun, dun, dun.
Here we are. It's Kelsey's Kelsey Joseph pardon me, Kelsey Josephson's. I hope I'm saying that right now. Wonderful book, Forsaken Beauty and the Ether Beast. We're very excited to be reading that. And Karen already has a copy in her hot little hands, as does Bill. Now, book club is at a slightly different time next month, because I am going to be off at Worldcon, and it will be impossible for me to host book club from Worldcon. Even though I'm going to be around a lot of books, I'm going to be doing a lot of programming. Bill, what date did we move book club to?
We moved it to the following weekend, so August 24th. August
Excellent,
2
thank you.
4.
Good. So you'll see us next month on August 24th, the weekend between Worldcon and Tucson Comic Con. We're just going to squeeze in a little book club, and I will be utterly deranged at that point, but it'll be fine because Kelsey is incredibly charming and will carry the day. So we're going to have a grand time talking about Kelsey's book. Kelsey, thank you so much for being our book club guest next month. I'm so pleased you could be with us. I'm very excited to read your book.
Thank you. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it is a standalone, so you're not going to get to the end and be like, wait, more.
Or maybe we will get to the end and be like, but wait, I need to read more books by Kelsey. Just throwing that out there. So Kelsey, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being our guest next month. We read a book every month of the year except for March and December. So we have 10 books every year to enjoy. That's never enough time to read books. We can never get in all the books that we want. And that's why we have to keep doing this year after year. If we haven't read a book you think we should, you should let me and Bill know. We'll put it on the list. It may show up eventually. We do not lose track of our recommendations. We have a very long list that we sort of like mess around with every year. We try and provide a different flavor, a little bit of a different flavor each month. So we hit a lot of different varieties of steampunk entrants because, as we noted, we have a very broad perspective on steampunk. And what we like to read is like a sort of, you know, more amorphous, which can be hard if you are new to the world of steampunk. It can be frustrating to have someone tell you, well, it's a huge sandbox and you can do what you want. So I would never say we're not frustrating, but we are charming. So that's what I've got for you. But to round us out, because we have a little bit of time left before we are done with book club, my final question for all of you, because I'm currently obsessed with this sort of aspect of reading. If you go on any sort of author marketing platform, if you look at a lot of the reviews these days, people talk about, well, it has this trope and that trope, and I always look for this trope or that trope. Last month, the Grand Arbiter and I welcomed 2 friends to join us to have like a trope tourney where we battled it out to like find the winning trope of that particular tourney. To be honest, the trope got nothing. Its feelings were neither hurt nor, you know, edified, but we had a good time. So my question for you is, what trope did you really enjoy in this book? What was the thing that hooked you the most about the story, in other words? So if you were to ask me that question, I'd say, oh, it was the found family, because that's always my favorite trope. I always come back to that. I will add, before we go around the room, that you're always welcome to say the same answer as someone else. We don't make you have a new thing because your favorite thing was already chosen. We're not like that. But I do like to pick on Karen first, because if I'm not careful, I will have a psychic link with Karen and I will steal all of her questions and I will ask them. So Karen, what was one of your favorite tropes in the book?
I think, well, other than found family, I think the fact that someone being forced to do something and having to deal with their SHIT and get there and be successful with it. So sort of finding that inner strength that you probably didn't know you knew you had because you're forced to do something, which I don't like, but I like.
Yes.
Yes.
It does make sense.
Found family is always a good one. So
You can't go wrong with found family, in my opinion. It's so good.
you can't
Thank you,
choose your
Karen.
one.
Can't choose them, but you can make one. All right, Patrice, you are up next. What was one of your favorite tropes in the book?
I don't know if this fits exactly, but I kind of really thought the name Learned Edward was so funny. It just made me laugh every time, and that was one of the things I really liked, that they kept saying it. Yeah. They never shortened it.
Never, not once. It was always the full title. It's just, honestly, if they'd only done it the once, it would have been sort of like, But the fact that they kept using it, it turned it into a wonderful joke by the end. Yeah, absolutely. I love that, Patrice. So good. Sharon, what was a trope that really hooked you in the book?
I mean the classic, it's a quest with different people from very different backgrounds and them having to struggle to navigate to find their similarities and yeah, that's always good for me.
Excellent. Thank you, Sharon. All right, Hannah, what was one of your favorite tropes from the book?
I kind of like the underdog, like the unexpected underdog type aspect that like go against the status quo or whatever you call it.
Yes. Impossible odds taking on an impossible enemy.
Exactly. And
And
I would
what
be
are they
like the
going to
first
do?
to perish. I would be the first to die in those situations in real life, but I love reading about other people having that.
Yes, same, Hannah, same. I would definitely be the first to die, to be perfectly clear. Thank you. Alicia, are you still there, or did the cats get you?
No, I'm here. We're trying to keep Mossy entertained because there's death.
Yes.
Favorite trope. It's hard. I think I like certainly the idea of just the companionship between Slate and Brennan, where they just like there's a history there, but it's not important. You know it's there and you know it's coming, but just I liked that sort of trope where it's just you know they have a thing, they know it's over, and yet he's still trying.
He's still trying, and he still shows up for her. Yes. Thank
Yeah,
you,
I
Alicia.
did like that.
That's a good one. Thank you, my friend. All right, Marty, what was one of your favorite tropes?
Okay. Well, they did keep Learned Edmund. I pictured the skinny kid in school with the glasses. And they did keep harping on him. So I was really glad when he did start growing.
Yes.
I mean, the character grew.
Yes.
So that's what I liked.
Thank you, Marty. I love that. Yeah, the callow youth having to like grow up a little bit. Absolutely.
I thought maybe they was going to kick sand in his face, that type of thing.
It did seem a little bit like he might turn into like a villain, a bad guy, a real pill, and she took it a totally different direction, which I think was wonderful.
I did too.
Thank you, Marty. Great observation. Lady June Squirrel, my darling, what was one of your favorite tropes?
One of my favorite tropes is very silly. It's the one bed trope because it seems so ridiculous. And in this case, it was one bed, but he ended up sleeping on the floor. and then she's like, and he snored with using the demon speech, and she tried to wake him up and he almost decapitated her with the sword. So anyway, I like the one bed trope.
Same, only one bed, but she definitely turned it on its head. I thought that was really fun. It was part of the humor. Absolutely. What a great call out. Thank you, Lady June Squirrel. All right, Chuck, what was one of your favorite tropes from the book?
I like the seeing it as the D&D adventure. when I first started reading and when she and when Slate and the Paladin met, it's like I'm like, oh, I see what's going on here. I know exactly where this is going. Who's the next person they're going to pick up? You know, who's the next? I was like, oh yeah, I know what's happening here. So yeah, I really like that D&D adventure going on.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, no, it really has that adventure party vibe, doesn't it? Like the best balanced, funniest, most absurd little group of adventurers going on to take on an impossible battle. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chuck. All right, Phyllis, what was one of your favorite tropes from the book?
Definitely saw the found family, but I think also you wondered through the whole book, that friend to lovers, were they gonna get there?
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Well, it's sort of like a little bit adversarial to friends to lovers, question mark?
And the book ends.
And the book
Yes.
ends. And the book ends. Oh my goodness. Yeah, book 2 has a lot of stuff waiting for you. So that's the good news. But I love that as well, Phyllis. It's so good. All right, Jim, my friend, what was a trope that you really liked from the book?
I like that. It's the heroic quest by the most totally improbable and unprepared group you could imagine, who somehow, against their own best efforts, muddle through and get it done. To me, Terry Pratchett was the best at creating those. So it just is that I love that how, oh my
Yeah.
God, they're all going to die, not just one of them. And yet somehow they go against their own nature and get it done. So I love that.
Yes, also, we have read Sir Terry's steampunk book. If you like Terry Pratchett, Raising Steam is a wonderful, like, steampunk influenced Discworld novel, and I definitely recommend it to you. So, yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Jim. All right, Kelsey, you're an author. You know your tropes. What was one of your favorites?
Aside from the found family, I like the slow burn and yearning, but yeah, I was kind of cussing out the book a little bit towards the end because just still waiting. But I also tend to ship things together, and sometimes I'm wrong about the ships, and that's okay. I can be wrong. But I really like that trope of like just taking time for the relationship. And I also like I don't know what the trope is called, but whenever you've got usually a man, but sometimes it could be a woman who's like trying so hard to stay principled and stuff. I love that moment whenever he says screw it and just goes for it. So I am really
Yes.
really hoping for the next book, but that's like one of my favorite, like, I don't know, micro tropes or whatever, when the buttoned up man finally is ready to just give into his emotions and, do the confession thing.
Ah, yes. It's so delicious when that happens. It's wonderful. Thank you, Kelsey. All right, Ronald, you are certainly never least, but you are towards the end today. What was one of your favorite tropes from the book?
The pardon, I liked all the tropes so far. That's great. And I'm not really up on romantic tropes in fiction, but one was touched like friends to lovers. I didn't quite see it that way. It's not really because uh, they're not really friends or two lovers. It's more like opposites attract, sort of, because poor old Caliban and Slade, they're tension all the time. And it's will they, won't they, that type of a thing. And it's to me, when I first saw the two of them together, I said, that's it. That's it. That's going to be it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And because they were so opposite. And actually, they were opposite, but they were similar in certain ways. And that was my trope,
You
whatever it's
know,
called.
opposites attract.
Mhm.
Absolutely. 100% a trope. And perfectly called out. I love that. Yeah, and Kelsey says, "Me too." Immediately shipping them. Absolutely. Like it's so,
Yeah.
as a reader,
Yeah.
it's coming.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ronald. All right, Bill, my buttery goodness. Close us out. What was one of your favorite tropes from the book?
Well, I'm not sure this is actually a trope, but uh, I love a good heist story. And this had all of the ingredients of it being sort of a heist, them sneaking into the rival city to figure out how to stop these things and do it and sabotage them. I love that, and I don't know if that's actually a trope or not, but and yeah, the sort of um, enemies to lovers, well, not exactly enemies, but yeah, that trope is also that's a pretty good one. And of course, found family is always a favorite because that's how so many of us have really found our families. But yeah,
Absolutely.
the heist part was
The heist.
fun for me.
I love a heist. Yeah, and Karen says no one mentioned love triangle. That's true, although love triangle complicated. I've read book two. So um anyway, my darlings, that is our time together today. This has been a wonderful book chat. We have a person in the wings coming in right at the end. I'm not going to leave them lingering. This has been such a wonderful time with all of you. Thank you so much for joining Book Chat today. Please come back and join us in August to discuss Kelsey's wonderful book. I'm so excited. Bill, do you have your copy up and available? Thank you very much.
Dickon
It's
Beauty and the Ether Beast
perfect.
by
Thank you.
Kelsey
Thank
Joseph.
you. It's going to be a wonderful time, and that will be August 24th at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. I did see that there were some questions about what time zone that is. Is it daylight savings? Honestly, I live in Arizona. I no longer understand how time works. I'm confused perpetually. That is why I like to connect it with the city. So currently we're doing 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, which is Seattle and Tucson. So if you go into your time zone converter, that will get you there. And just use those cities. And I will tell you when we switch in the autumn. Wayne, I'm so happy you could join us from South Australia as well. Thank you so much. I know we're coming to the end of our time together, but I'm happy you joined us for a bit. We do this every month except for March and December, so I hope you will join us in the future. To our friends who are joining us on YouTube, thank you for hanging out and coming along for the chat. All right, my friends, I'm going to close out the stream. Please remember, as you go out into the world, to treasure yourselves as I treasure you. And that absolutely means reading the next book, Wonder Engine by T. Kingfisher, picking up Kelsey's book for August. Thank you very much. Forsaken Beauty and the Ether Beast. Such good reads. It also means getting the good cup of tea, washing your hands, getting your vitamins and minerals and your vaccines and boosters. In other words, my darlings, please take very good care of yourselves so we can continue to have these delightful book chats every month, and I may torment you with lots of questions. Aren't you excited? There are no grades, and everybody always gets a gold star, and no one is judging you. All right, everyone, take very good care. See you next time. Cheers.